MLB.com just released their top 100 players right now, and it has some major issues. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to Good Sports for You, where we are talking about good sports for you. And like I said, today we are talking about the top 100 players according to MLB.com. But before we hop into it, I want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. So let's take it from the top. Number 1, we got Shohei Ohtani, obviously. Number 2, we got Aaron Judge, obviously. Number 3, Bobby Witt. Yeah, I like it. I mean, Bobby Witt is a fantastic player. One of the best players in the league right now. Offensively, he's not quite as good as some of these other players, so if they're valuing defense, totally get it. If they're not really valuing defense as much, I would have dropped him a little bit lower, but I think it's very respectable. He's for sure top 5. Definitely don't have any qualms with him at number 3. Cal Raleigh at number 4. I love Cal Raleigh. He had an awesome season last year. Arguably should have won MVP. However, if this is going into 2026, like these players right now, Cal Raleigh, I don't know how much he's going to do this coming year. So if we're doing like right now, I get it. Arguably, he should have been higher than Bobby Witt Jr. then. But I don't really know what the whole entire deal is with what's going on here. Next up is Jose Ramirez at number 5. Sure, I think Soto should be higher, but I get it. Jose Ramirez, one of the most consistent players in the world, one of the best players in the world, so I understand it. He's for sure a top 10 player in my opinion. I just probably would have had Soto higher. And Soto's at number 6. So that's not awful. You know, I would have maybe switched things up a little bit. I probably would have had Soto number 4, Jose Ramirez 5, and maybe Cal Raleigh 6, but I'm not complaining too much. Number 7, Paul Skeens. Number 8, Tarek Skubal. Sure, Paul Skeens, I think, is the best pitcher in the world right now. Tarek Skubal, I think, is right behind him. You know what? You could even make an argument that Skubal could be number 1 ahead of Skeens because he has the back-to-back Cy Youngs, whereas Paul Skeens doesn't. But if he pitched a whole entire season, in his first season, he would have had back-to-back Cy Youngs. So it's like, you know, give and take, whatever. Next up is going to be Corbin Carroll. This is my first major issue. Corbin Carroll, I don't even think is the best player on his team right now. I think Geraldo Perdomo is leaps and bounds better than him. When you're looking at the stats, Perdomo's just a better player. I don't think Corbin Carroll is a top 10 player in the league. I think Corbin Carroll is fantastic, but I don't think he's top 10 whatsoever. If you're projecting a little bit, I could understand if you think that he's going to take another jump forward because he is very young and very talented. So I get that, but right now I just don't think he's top 10. Next up, Vlad Jr. So if we're adding in the boost of the playoffs, sure. But even then, I don't know. Like, his season was good. It wasn't great. But in the playoffs, he was phenomenal. So I get that. So I'm just going with the assumption right now that the playoffs matter a lot. But if the playoffs matter a lot, why are you still putting people who didn't even make it to the playoffs, like a Juan Soto, in your top 10? Or a Corbin Carroll who didn't make the playoffs above Vlad Jr. because Vlad Jr. had such an amazing postseason, so shouldn't count for way more? That just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And then we're going in through the 11 through 20. We got Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor was objectively better than Vlad Jr. last year. Let's look at the stats real quick. Vlad Jr. put up 4.6 WAR with 23 home runs, 292 average. That's really good. With a 133 OPS plus, playing first base. So arguably the most offensive heavy position in the game, except for DH, obviously. Next up, we're going to look at Lindor. 5.9 WAR with more home runs and a 129 OPS plus. So you mean to tell me that his OPS plus as a shortstop was only 4 points lower than Vlad Jr. So he was only 4% worse as a hitter, and Lindor is a shortstop. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think Francisco Lindor should easily be higher than Vlad Jr., in my humble opinion. Next up is Garrett Crochet. Sure, he had a really good season this year. Next up is Yamamoto. So again, if playoffs really matter that much, I get it. But if they don't, why do you have Acuna right below him? Because Acuna is uber talented. We all understand that. He hasn't really played in the playoffs, recently, because he's been hurt all the time, for one, and also he didn't play in the playoffs this year. So why is he number 14 behind Yamamoto, who had a very good regular season, but is really here because of what he did in the World Series? Ronald Acuna was good last year in a small sample size because he was hurt. He was hurt the year before then. He hasn't played a full season since he won MVP At this point, it's going to be 3 seasons ago. And he didn't play in the postseason this year, so why is he this high? Tatis, he also had a really good season. There are some controversies with him, so I get that. Julio Rodriguez, I think, should be higher. I think Julio Rodriguez is better than Tatis. I think he's better than Acuna. He put up over 6 WAR this past season. He's a fantastic offensive player. He's a fantastic defensive player. I just think he should be higher. Next up is Kyle Schwarber. So are we just saying defense completely out the window because Kyle Schwarber, as a DH, is a top 20 player in the league? He's bat-wise, he's a top 10 bat. So yeah, I get that. But DHing, you're taking away so much of the value that other players provide. And then you got Mookie Betts right under him. Mookie Betts was really only good defensively this year. He put up like an average OPS plus. So what do you value? Do you value defense? Because if you value defense, then Kyle Schwarber should be way lower. If you value offense, Mookie Betts should be way lower. My biggest thing, there's no consistency. Ketel Marte is next up. Yeah, sure, he had some injuries, so I get that. I think he's a great player. I don't think he's the best player on his team. I don't think he's the second best player on his team. Next up is Will Smith. Will Smith, yeah, I think he's the second best catcher for sure right now behind Cal Raleigh, so I get that. And then the 21 through 30s, we got Kyle Tucker. Okay. Yeah, he had a great season. He had some injuries late, but I get that. But again, he didn't have a good postseason. So are you really valuing postseason that much? Next up is Freddie Freeman. He had a big drop this year, but I get it. Like, he's getting older. So I understand that. And it's like, do you value, like, when you say right now, do you mean going into the 2026 season, like where they are like right now, or how do you think they're going to perform in 2026? Because if that's the case, then players, like younger players should be higher up, older players should drop a little bit. But Freddie Freeman, I think, makes sense, but we're going to get to some other players that I feel ways about later. Nick Kurtz at number 23. I think he was the best first baseman in the game this year. So how is he lower than Vlad? How is he lower than Freddie Freeman? Next up is Geraldo Perdomo. Way too low. He was the best player on the Diamondbacks this year, easily. He put up 7 WAR when the other guys didn't even put up 6 WAR. And he's at number 24. Probably because he didn't have a rank in 2025. If you're talking about the right now, the past then shouldn't matter. It should only be what they just did. And Perdomo was so good. Corbin Carroll had an off season last year, in 2024. Perdomo, in less time, put up like the same WAR. And then this season, he put up higher WAR. He was a better player than Corbin Carroll. But Corbin Carroll is in the top 10, and Perdomo's not even in the top 20. That doesn't make any sense. Next up, Trey Turner. He had a really good season. I get that. Gunnar Henderson, he had a great season, not as good as the year before. Next up is Corey Seager. I want to pull up the stats for this one. Corey Seager put up 6.2 WAR this season. He had a 151 OPS plus. That is better than like so many other shortstops that are on the list. If we look at Trey Turner, who's right above him, he put up a 121 OPS plus. Is it because Corey Seager was like hurt and he was beat up and he didn't have a full season? But he's just like way better than these guys. So that doesn't make any sense, because if you value like a good season this past season, if you value not being hurt, why is Yordan Alvarez right below him? Why is Yordan Alvarez right below him? Because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because Yordan Alvarez was hurt and beat up, and he did not perform well this season. So there's just no consistency. Next up is Christopher Sanchez. He had a really, really good season as a starting pitcher. So if you care about playoffs, yeah, that's probably about right. But if you don't care about playoffs, he should be way higher than Yamamoto. And Hunter Brown, same thing. He had a better season than Yamamoto did this season, but he didn't pitch in the playoffs. So if that's what you're going by, okay, that's what we're going by. But then why is Kyle Tucker that high? There's just no consistency whatsoever. Next up is 31 through 40. Matt Olson, great season. Bryce Harper didn't even have a really good season this year. And Pete Alonso wasn't even fantastic. Like, Matt Olson was so phenomenal this year. So it's like, what are you valuing? Because Matt Olson, like, he got a lot of his value because of his defense, because he's a plus defensive first baseman. Matt Olson put up 6 WAR this season, winning the Gold Glove. Bryce Harper put up 3.1 WAR this season, obviously not winning the Gold Glove. So you mean to tell me, and also Matt Olson's OPS plus was almost 10 points better. So you mean to tell me that a guy who's a much better defender and a much better hitter this past season, because that's what you're supposed to be going by, is the right now, is only 1 step above the other guy? And if you value defense, Matt Olson should be way higher. But obviously, like you've suggested that you don't value defense. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Manny Machado's up next. Well, okay, we're back to valuing defense again. Because Manny Machado, offensively, had a 118 OPS plus. That's good. That's good. It's not even close to some of these other guys. Like, it just... And again, I go back to Mookie Betts being that high. And if you want to talk about the playoffs, Mookie Betts did not have a good playoffs. So are we valuing playoffs? Is it just because he won a World Series that he's that high? He didn't contribute like nearly as much as some of these other players. Oh, man. Next up, Bregman. He had a good season. We're taking too long. Next up, Max Fried, Logan Webb, and Chris Sale. Yeah, Max Fried had a great season. Logan Webb had a great season. Chris Sale had a great season. I'm not arguing with any of that. Chris Sale is kind of weird because just he gets beat up so much. Yeah. Junior Caminero, PCA. These are two very good, very young players. So are we going by the right now? If we're going by the right now, I think that's fair. I think that they should be a little bit higher because Junior Caminero had a better season than Manny Machado. He had a better season than Bryce Harper. PCA had a better season than all of these guys in the top 30. So what are you going by? Are you saying it because defense doesn't matter? Is that why PCA is that low? Well, if defense doesn't matter, PCA should be even lower. He was so bad offensively this season. But if you're saying that defense really does matter, then he should be way higher. He's a way more complete player than any of the players that are in the 30 through 40. And I'm PCA's number one hater. I don't like PCA. I'm a Brewers fan all the way. I don't think PCA is very good. I take that back. I don't like PCA. I think he's very good. He should be higher. It's absurd. This is absurd. And then 40 through 50, Roman Anthony, sure. But again, I was like, okay, well, he barely played. So are you projecting? Byron Buxton, he's a tough one because he gets hurt so much. Cody Bellinger, sure. Brian Wu, sure. Hunter Green, sure. There's one starting pitcher that's really missing, though. I'm going to say that. Rafi Devers. Yeah, he's great with the bat. George Springer is better with the bat. So are we back to valuing defense because George Springer is nothing defensively? George Springer was arguably the third or second best. You could make an argument for the third or second best hitter in the American League, and he's at 47. And then next up, you have Bo Bichette. So now we're back to saying that defense doesn't matter at all because Bo Bichette is a terrible defender. Bo Bichette has low WAR because his defense is so bad. He's a good hitter. He's not even a great hitter. He doesn't hit for like a ton of pop. He doesn't draw a ton of walks. He hits for a very high average, and I get that. Jeremy Pena is right below him. They played the same position last season, and Jeremy Pena was objectively better in every single way, shape, and form. Not every single way, shape, and form, because like offensively, Bo Bichette had him beat a little bit. But like, let's look at this. Bo Bichette, 3.5 WAR, 18 home runs, 118 hits, and a 129 OPS plus. Jeremy Pena, 5.6 WAR, 150 hits, 117 home runs, a 304 average. So it's not like he's not hitting for a good average, and a 132 OPS plus and a 140 OPS. They have the same OPS. Jeremy Pena has a higher OPS plus. Jeremy Pena also put up 2.1 more WAR. So are we back to saying that defense doesn't matter? Because how in the world is Bo Bichette higher than Jeremy Pena when Jeremy Pena is just better? But with George Springer, we're saying that defense does matter because with him, let's take a real quick gander at George Springer's offensive stats this season. George Springer put up 4.8 WAR with a 161 OPS plus. We just had Bryce Harper in the 30s. Bryce Harper, his OPS plus was over 30 points worse. So, there's no consistency whatsoever. This is just a dreadful list. And next up, you got Jacob deGrom. Sure, he's a tough one with injuries, but obviously we know that he can be one of the best pitchers on the planet. And we're talking about injuries. We got Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler was out for the whole entire, I don't even know when he got hurt, but almost the entire second half of the season. But he's so good. I think that he should be higher but even if we're talking about right now, he didn't even pitch at the end of the season. So if we're talking about right now, he shouldn't even be in. Ellie De La Cruz, I actually think that's a good spot for him. He's been overhyped up in the past, but I think this is a good spot. James Wood, if we're talking about the right now, he was not good at the second half of the season. So it's what's the right now for him? Blake Snell, I think should be higher because if we're talking about the right now, if we're talking about injuries, he's incredible. He's incredible when he pitches. William Contreras, I think that's reasonable. Jackson Churio. I love Jackson Chourio. Jackson Churio's not better than Jackson Merrill. I got Jackson Chourio card right here, autographed for my birthday. I love Jackson Chourio. He is my favorite player. He's not better than Jackson Merrill. So are we projecting now with Jackson Chourio? Because if we are, I think this is a good spot for him. But if we aren't, then he should be lower. But if we aren't projecting, then PCA should be way higher. If we are projecting, PCA should be higher regardless. Jackson Merrill, like, he's just had a better career. He's had a better career. He did have some injuries and stuff like that. Chourio hasn't been the healthiest guy in the world these past little, especially in the playoffs. Next up is the 60s. This is awful. This is awful. Jazz Chisholm, Bryce Terang. They play the same position. So this is apples to apples. Jazz Chisholm put up 4.2 WAR this past season with a 125 OPS plus. Bryce Terang put up 5.6 WAR with a 121 OPS plus. Last season, or 2024, Bryce Terang put up 4.7 WAR. Jazz Chisholm put up 2.7. So now we're back to saying that defense doesn't matter because Bryce Terang is lower than Jazz Chisholm. And then you got Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta, who finished top 5 in Cy Young this season, led the National League in wins, who had a 2.70 ERA, but is somehow worse than Hunter Green, who didn't even receive Cy Young votes. Sure. Nathan Eovaldi. Like, he was so good this season, but he got hurt. Maikel Garcia. He put up 5.8 WAR. 5.8 WAR. Bryce Harper was in the 3s. Jackson Chourio was in the 2s. Like, Garcia, Gold Glove, 14th in MVP, 123 OPS plus as a third base, second base, shortstop. He's playing a little bit everywhere. How is he not higher up? Is it because of his previous seasons? Well, if we're talking about previous seasons, then other players who it's their rookie season shouldn't even matter, right? No consistency whatsoever. The fact that Garcia is this low is an actual travesty. It's absolutely absurd. Suarez, sure. I mean, he fell off at the end, so it's not really a right now, right? Michael Bush, sure. Kyle Stauer, sure. Wyatt Langford, I'm glad he got some love. He had a really good season. Josh Naylor, sure. Yandy Diaz, sure. Logan Gilbert, sure. Joe Ryan, sure. Alejandro Kirk. Alejandro Kirk, he made it to the World Series. He was decent in the playoffs, but he put up a WAR that was in the 2s. You have other catchers who have WARs well in the 3s that are much, much lower, so I got issues with that. Steven Kwan is, like, better. He's a very good hitter. He didn't have a great offensive season this year, and he's a good defender. His WAR is just, like, way better than these players. Jacob Wilson, so are we not even counting the past? Because Jacob Wilson is a rookie, so should it even matter, like, what he's done in the past? Because clearly for other players like Maikel Garcia, it does matter what they've done in the past. Well, guess what? Jacob Wilson put up negative 0.2 WAR last season, and then this season his rookie of the year voting, he has a good season. It's just like, where's the line? Why does it matter? And Seiya Suzuki, sure. Christian Yelich, sure. Why not? Ranger Suarez, sure. Framber Valdez, sure. These are the 80s. Jose Altuve and Mike Trout. I love Mike Trout. Jose Altuve, I have my thoughts and opinions on. Jose Altuve put up less than 1 WAR this season. Mike Trout put up less than 2. They are not top 100 players in the game at all. Matt Chapman is number 85. One of the best defensive third basemen in the game. He put up over 4 WAR, and he's below Jose Altuve. Willie Adames, sure. Zach Neto, on the same team as Mike Trout, put up over 5 WAR this season. Colson Montgomery, I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about your game. Cole Reagans, Andrew Abbott, sure, they had great seasons. Brent Rooker, yeah. Shea Langoliers was way better than Alejandro Kirk. Vinny Pasquantino, sure. Kerry Carpenter, sure. Ben Rice, sure. Drake Baldwin, why not? And then Hunter Goodman. I love Hunter Goodman. He won the Silver Slugger and he barely cracks the top 100. Ivan Herrera, Carlos Rodon, and Dylan Cease. This list was genuinely absurd. There's no rhyme or reason to, it seems, basically anything that they do. Because if you look at, like, offensively, Brent Rooker should be way higher. If you look at offensively, Shea Langoliers should be way higher. Hunter Goodman should be way higher. But then Jose Altuve should be way lower. But then when you talk about defense matters, then why in the world is, like, Jazz Chisholm above Bryce Terang? Why is Garcia so low? Like, these things don't make any sense. Jackson Chourio is too high, and I love Jackson Chourio, but he's objectively too high. Are you saying that potential doesn't matter? Then why is PCA, like, because PCA is so low? Or are you saying that potential does matter because Roman Anthony is so high? Are you saying that things in the past do matter because Maikel Garcia is number 65 when he put up well over 5 WAR this past season? Or are you saying that things in the past don't matter because Jacob Wilson cracks the top 100 when he put up negative WAR the season before? Like, there's no rhyme or reason to this list, and you can see it, quite frankly, as soon as you see Vlad in the top 10 and as soon as you see Corbin Carroll in the top 10. This is just a genuinely awful list. I have so many issues. But whatever. That's what I got to say. Thank you so much for watching, though. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. I appreciate it so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and I'm out. Peace.